I'm at SlavoidT.
All right, this is Shit Spouter 37.
This is Black.com Pilled.
This is the Fed Post.
Yeah, it is for sure. You're not missing anything there.
But yeah, okay. So, let's talk about something real instead of
Okay.
these psychos. All right, so let's see. Okay, well, it's up to you guys where you want to start. Should we talk about Hasan or the based Biden types? What do you guys prefer first?
Do we going to talk about my based friend Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, well, that actually made me surprisingly angry. I don't know what it was. Something about it just like really fucking got under my skin. It's just like, yeah, like, you know, all this stuff of just like, oh, Biden's actually based because the establishment wants him to stay in Afghanistan. And that shit, I don't know, man. It was so forced.
Yeah.
And people were actually taking it serious. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm just like, damn, man, this shit. Again, I mean, I've said it a million times. Trump set the deadline to get out, and Biden pushed it back like months to be on the 9/11 anniversary for whatever, who knows why, right? Like whatever reason could you think of that? It's like some neocons symbolic bullshit.
Yeah.
And he pushed it back, and, you know, he's basically held to this, basically. And, you know, the Taliban was pissed that they were delaying it. And you know, and now, you know, he's being held to it and he's got to do it. And, you know, he doesn't really have a choice, and he already delayed it. So he was supposed to do it earlier, but he already like fucked it up. Yeah. And now he's getting credit for being like a anti-war hero. He's like challenging the establishment. It's insane.
Insane way to look at it. I'm so glad that like it didn't even occur to me to look at the Afghanistan issue like in some kind of like partisan, like that's what I was really noticing when I was like looking at all of those like comments about Biden and stuff. It's like, you know, you actually don't have to like take the president's side. Like you can just like see it for what it is. But I mean, yeah, if anything, they probably did it with him as president because like, you know, it doesn't really matter if he like looks bad. If anything, I think that helps them because, you know, he's just
yeah, they're trying to get him out anyways eventually.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe they like him more than they thought they would because it's like you can't really disagree with him. Like he's just kind of like I really do think he's like a degenerate version of like Jimmy Carter. You know, it's for sure. Yeah, like Jimmy Carter was like really folksy and like nice and empathetic. So it's like you couldn't, you know, be mean to him.
That's a great point.
And Biden's just like senile. And so, I mean, yeah, he doesn't even probably know what's going on. And yeah, like it's such a cope too, because it's like, dude, obviously we all know who's based in this situation and it's not fucking Joe Biden. Like, come on. Like there are all these like ripped guys just like, you know, started out with these giant rifles and oh my God, they look like warriors from like, a lost time. Like, and you're just gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, Biden's like so based. Like, you know, he put Boris Johnson on hold for like 45 minutes. And it's like, he's probably just like drooling on the floor.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw you tweet about that. Yeah.
It's like he's dead. Yeah.
One of the child guys said that. He's like, he's not even there. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, well, he's super based for like not even being there.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Like, he's not based. And it's just, they have to know like what they're, God, I don't know. It's just,
I mean, all the based, I think the specific use of based as in like a signal for like, oh wow, this is like cool and like it's like edgy. Like it reminds me so much of fucking like, you know, the Hunter Biden this cool thing, or it reminds me of like I don't know, anytime the DNC was putting up like, oh, Biden's got sunglasses, he's riding a car, he's riding an old school car, he's eating ice cream, he's got sunglasses, like Pelosi with the sunglasses, like all this very forced, like, oh, he's actually cool. It feels so forced, so top down, and then seeing these like left media people do it, like these dirtbag or like these edgy dissident left media people do it, it's just like, yo, do you think I'm stupid? Like, I think that's the thing. It's insulting my intelligence. It's like
exactly.
That's the thing that irks me is like I don't want to see this. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's
like, you know that they know. Like, they're smart enough
they
to
know.
know
No,
what
they
the
know.
fuck
They
know
know.
what the fuck
Absolutely.
they're doing. And it's like, you're just going to do that in front of me and act like you're not pulling this off at all.
Right. That's the thing. Is like it's they know. I know they know.
They
because
have
they're
to.
like
They've talked about other people doing stuff like that, you know, and this is like just as bad, God, if not worse than anything that like they've like, how do they even, I don't know. They probably don't care because they're just like cashing giant checks and
Well, there's savvy media people, and I always underestimate this because I'm not very savvy media wise, but like these guys, like they're just good at this shit. They just know like where the wind's blowing, where to angle at the right moment to stay within like a certain sphere and maintain a certain amount of credibility. They're just good at it. They just know when to catch these strides. And again, like all these people voted Biden or at last second endorsed Biden. You know what I mean? They all did. So like, you know, in some form or another. So like, again, this is like buyer's remorse. Like this is like, you know, you're with him now. You're sunk with him. So everything he does is on you now because you went out of your way to endorse him. And tell people to vote for him when you could have just said nothing. So now it's a lot of it is like this cognitive dissonance of like, all right, well, things obviously suck more now. And it's less funny because there's not Trump. So how do you like make up for it?
It's less funny, but it's not any less weird, which I think is really, I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but I do think it's like now, I mean, you can't say now that like, oh, things are back to normal. It's like, no, they're not. It's just less funny. And
exactly.
I think what's interesting, and this kind of applies to like everything, I guess, but it's like, you know, there's so much like effort, you know, to keep the media, like the media machine has to try so hard to like lie to everyone about what's going on because it's so obvious when they're lying. And I think that it just is just taking more and more effort. And like, yeah, you can see that with like Will Menaker, you know, in like 2017, things weren't as weird. So it wasn't as obvious. And I guess also obviously like Trump was in the White House. So that makes things different too. And that's a big part of it. I think I didn't realize that until I just said it now. But yeah, like you can really just like see the like, I don't know. It's just a horrible, like embarrassing charade, and all of us are being subjected to it. And it's awful. It's abusive.
No, and you're like your Carter comparison really it makes a lot of sense to me now that I think about it because like Carter too is just very kind of like he's just like filling the seat. You know what I mean? He's just a space holder, and he's like. You talk to him individually, right? You forget about what his connection to power is. You just look at him individually. He's just a nice guy. Like you I don't know. You don't. There's nothing. He's like inoffensive. He's like, agreeable.
He's a peanut farmer.
Exactly.
I build houses for poor people.
Well, it's hard.
I'm like a little tiny David Lynch person. Jimmy Carter's little bitch ass. Fuck that guy.
Oh my God. Oh, I know. He sucks. Like I hate him. Like, I don't know if I want to say him, like, I hate him more than like any president because I haven't really thought about that. But like, I really hate how he like sort of introduced like empathy politics. I mean, it probably wasn't like his idea, but he was the first guy. And yeah, it's hard to yell at someone. I mean, I used to work the call center customer service, like on the supervisor team. So they would send me like the escalated calls. And that was one thing that I would do on them is, you just remain really calm and polite and nice. And it's hard to fight with somebody who's not like giving you anything. Like you don't want to give them any fuel. Like you just kind of starve it out. And like, I think that Jimmy Carter was really able to do that. But like with Biden, it's like the first is tragedy like that. Like Biden's like the farce version of it, where it's like it's not so much like nobody thinks that he's nice. Like he's just about to die and doesn't know what's going on. So you can't like argue with him.
I mean, I think with this whole Afghanistan thing, I think that I don't even really buy into the idea too much that like Trump had this whole thing set up, and like I don't buy into the premise of awarding like responsibility to presidents on this topic. Like I think it was gonna fucking happen, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was gonna happen, and so it's a controlled demolition basically, and like you wheel in the guy who there's no return voyage for Joe Biden.
Right.
Like it's a one-way fucking trip, dude. He's a kamikaze pilot.
He's going off on the glacier, you know,
Exactly. The ice is breaking off and he's going to float out into the Pacific. So I think just everything outside of that, like, I don't know, like maybe to a certain extent, like for him, some of this, like this grandstanding. Well, I just don't listen, Buster. We're getting out of there and yada yada yada. Like, I mean, maybe some of that's sincere. I watched his little like address, and it's like, okay, yeah, they just blame the security forces, like the Afghan army, shit like that. Like, I think that's pretty funny. But like this shit was gonna happen either way. He's the fucking fall guy. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, like I don't really buy the whole like blaming the people of the fucking country. As far as like leaving a bunch of like arms and shit behind for the Taliban to like grab and shit. I mean, personally, like I think that's just like intelligence, like meddling. Like I think that was probably like intentional.
Right. That makes,
yeah, like I'm not going to give Biden any fucking credit for this. Like he seems, I mean, ultimately, like I'm sure that like the establishment narrative of like hammering him on this gives him some future proof protection of just being like, you know, he did the tough thing, but he did the right thing. Right. But then they gotta get to like whittle him down and soften him up to file him out for his replacement.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think. Okay, well, yeah, I agree with you. Well, you know, we've talked about this with the good old boys last time too, which is like the MIC obviously is more powerful than any president. So Correct. Exactly what you're saying. Like, you know, the presidents are just sort of like. They're the bagmen. They're the errand boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, you know, is important to understand in terms of like the power dynamics or whatever. But like Trump, as far as withdrawing, whatever, I don't know if that was going to happen naturally. I don't know. Well, I think Trump ran on an anti-interventionist thing, so I think it makes sense that he pushed for it. I think they allow things within certain parameters, right? Like maybe I don't think they want to pull out. I really don't think that, right? Which you can tell by the way the establishment is reacting right now.
They definitely didn't. This was like couldn't afford to be there or something anymore.
I think whatever credit you can give to Trump, I think they didn't want to do it this soon or this way, and I think he sort of forced it. But I think in a way that what SLAV was talking about and being like, you know, kind of out of his hands is I think they can allow this. I think they look at it as like, yeah, all right, sure, whatever, because we're going to keep the defense contractors out there. We're going to keep the drones going. We're going to keep everything. I'll
say like I don't think that it all is completely centralized to one faction within the elites is what I'm saying. It's like it was going to happen at some point, and this is when it was going to happen. It just ended up happening now, right? And it ended up falling on like the fall guy. I'm not saying that like factions within the MIC were like, okay, yeah, like this is what we need. I mean, we're discounting the fact that like there are separate interests across all different institutions within.
Sure.
Yeah, and I mean,
within
and
this,
ultimately,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, ultimately, it's sorry.
Go ahead. No. You can go.
No, I mean, ultimately, it's good PR to be the anti-war person because nobody likes war. Nobody likes it, right or left. Like, we're in a phase now, post-Vietnam, nobody fucking likes this shit. So you get popularity points for being on that side. I really think, well, again, one thing to be clear is, like, Biden, like, being an autonomous figure, deciding things, just bugs me out. I don't understand it. I don't understand all these people like, oh, Biden did this. He decided to do this. He's not deciding anything. He's not there. He's probably dead. Okay,
exactly.
Like, he's probably fucking dead. Like I really believe this. Like I don't think he's not sentient. Okay, so he's like he's not deciding anything. Somebody is got their hand up his ass and moving his mouth. You understand? Like he's a puppet. Like that's I just don't get that. I don't get this idea that he's like doing anything. He's not doing anything. But like I think I think he's in a situation where he was forced to pull out, and they don't really want to, but they're not really losing much, and they can go back whenever. You know, Obama would like do these drawdowns of troops, and he'd be like, you know, we don't. The problem is we need a scalpel, not a sledgehammer.
Oh, I remember that.
He would say that shit all the time, and what it would mean is he'd send out special forces, or he'd send out drones. You know what I mean? He'd switch the means of warfare instead of this old school like boots on the ground thing with bad optics. You just go about it the other way, and people still get paid. The defense contractors still get paid. The money still goes. So I think it's just like shifting that. And Trump went for the easy win. It's like, oh, people want me to get out, so we got to get out. And then they allowed it because they're like, okay, we can still make money either way. It kind of sucks, but we can still make money. And then Biden's just forced to like kind of go along with it. And if he goes against it, then he's going to get murked by the public, which, you know.
Yeah. He
I
couldn't
think
have
that's really all it is.
God, the optics were so bad though. Like, not that you were saying that like they weren't, but I'm just, shit, I kind of forgot where I was going with
the
that
optics of him pulling out, or
yeah, just like how it like went down was like, it seems like it was like really embarrassing. Like just
because he pulled out and then the Taliban took over. Like,
yeah, and like
and
they were like
he had no idea what was going on.
They were welcomed, and like the government, like the puppet government that was there, just like got the fuck out of Dodge, and like just all of the pictures like showing the Taliban just like just smiling and like
yes, because they fucking hate us. They don't want us to be there. We're not supposed to fucking be there. So like of course
the Taliban like look cool. I mean, like,
oh yeah. Right. The Taliban are hot take. That's
yes, which
is permeating.
Yeah, they are. And did you see them like they were like posting the like? Oh, I think we maybe talked about this earlier, but like the Chad like meme of it, like Midwit or whatever is like crying.
Oh, they're based. They're actually based.
They are like I'm like that
memes.
Is what a Chad looks like.
Right. No, I'm surprised about their PR game. I'm surprised. Like I saw some clips of them like talking in the media, like the Al Jazeera or whatever, and they're very fucking savvy and like very like
that video they came out with, was it like Death to America? Yeah, it was so good. Like I agreed with almost everything that they said. The only thing I didn't agree with was that the Trump people almost took over the country on January 6th. I'm like, okay, no, that's not right. But like literally everything else that was in it was like dead on. I'm just like, go off.
I think I missed this video. I know what you're talking about. I didn't see that. I saw some other one where some guy from the Taliban was like talking to Al Jazeera, was like, yeah, we took over Kabul, and like we didn't want to, but these forces left, and we had no choice. We had to do this, and we enforced Sharia law on ourselves before we enforced it on anyone. He was kind of like making woke signaling. Like, he was very like careful, very like articulate. I was like, holy shit, like who's
they have
fucking,
optics, dude. They're in the game.
CIA funded, PR team, like. But
wild, yeah.
God damn.
I guess they're definitely based. They're definitely based.
They're definitely based.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna say that I would want to live under fucking Sharia law.
No.
I'm not saying that. No.
I'm just saying. I think it's really great to see like global liberal capital fucking lose to small nationalism.
Yes.
Like that's what that is. Like they fucking won out, and that's what everybody fucking wants. Now, like, if you think that that's like, it's less that like, it's less that they like fought them off and won, but like they fucking outlasted them. Fucking outlasted them.
And that's what you have to do to win that kind of conflict. And they can do it because they actually give a shit. And they don't have this like overly bloated, decentralized, no one's accountable system to where they can't like do anything competently. Like they seem very competent.
We can stay retarded longer than you can stay solvent. That whole thing.
Exactly. Yes.
But solidarity. Apes strong together. All that shit.
Solid fucking solidarity, dude. Dude, I gotta say, like, as far as the whole cast of CIA characters go, Afghan women are like my least favorites. I gotta say, I'm like listening to fucking NPR at work the other day. I'm like talking to my coworker, and I'm like, you realize just now that you notice, like, listen to how many fucking times they talk about women and young girls, like today on the fucking radio. Like, they all got their little fucking talking points from the security state. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. Fuck human rights politics.
No, that's so
fuck
true.
Neocolonialism. Fuck all of these little fucking slugs. And like, honestly, like, all these fucking jihadis that are like pulling down posters of like perfume advertisements and fashion ads with like women on them, like, based.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Slav, it sounds like you want the terrorists to win, or that you are against women's rights, whichever one fits the
Why not both, brother?
yeah.
And that's funny too, like the women and girls phrase, like that gets used a lot by like the radical feminists and stuff, and in that case it's like, oh, fuck them, like but it's like, oh, women and girls, now we use it for this. It's just like, God,
the Taliban is toxic and problematic. Their memes are like, what was that meme? It was like, some soy jack was crying, like, you're a sexist, you're a, and it's like the Chad Taliban guy's got like mad wives.
Yes,
like, dinner's ready, Habibi, and he's like, yes. Did you see that shit, Slav?
Yeah, dude.
So fucking crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Dude,
Salute
this is like fucking like the other day, like Tucker's monologue earlier this week, just being like, you know what? Like, the people of Afghanistan like their patriarchy. And some of their women even do as well. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
They probably hilarious. Do, honestly. Like, I would not want to live under that. And I'm not like built for that. Like, I think it's sort of like, like, when they have like animals that have like been in captivity for too long, and like you can't just like I don't think that like it's too late.
We're all constitutionally libs. Like, this is like what we were steeped in.
We're just like goofy and like, cucked and whatever. But like,
which is by the way, also like what always needs to be kept in mind whenever anybody's ever talking about like China and the G pill. Because it's just like, nah, bro. Like,
thank you. I mean, you're giving away the game, Slav. But yeah, honestly, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, look.
Well, I mean, whatever. To be fair, like I think I'm like damn near like as close as you can get to being G-pilled without like going all the way. Like, I get it, and I agree with almost all of that shit. But I also just like understand, like, anyways, we don't need to get into that.
No, I get it too. I get it.
I'm interested in talking about that, actually.
China's another fucking trap that we always fall into.
I'm sorry.
Talking about China.
Yeah.
At this point, though, I feel like every few months we have repeated topics, so at least we make some kind of progress away from things. But absolutely.
No, but I think that's a good side point too. Is like, yeah, look, I mean, fundamentally, we're down with the monarchy. I'm not down with the fucking CCP. Fuck them. I'm not trying to fucking be anybody's fucking slave or whatever. Fuck that shit. I don't care how based you can make it seem with your fucking memes. It's actually based to be this, like, without your rights. So shut the fuck up.
It comes down to, it's kind of the divergence point of just like how far you can do the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing a little bit. Because like, I remember like earlier this week, someone had some post about like, they're like, hey, they're doing corporal punishment in Afghanistan. And like, I think corporal punishment is good within reason, here and there. But like this post is like, they're doing corporal punishment. They're chopping people's hands off for theft, right? Someone retweeting I can almost guarantee you just some like Angloid,
Angloid, I love that. I haven't heard that yet.
It's just like
the Fed post first. Yeah.
Angloid.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, who's just like based. And it's like, okay, like, no, chopping people's hands off for like
what the fuck?
Stealing is not like, I feel like it's somewhere in between me a couple months ago being like, hey, like, theft is antisocial behavior and you like generally shouldn't do it. And people just, that was like the last big dog pile I had. People just fucking screeching on me.
Oh God.
Wait, for which one? For what?
It was during the you remember that Walgreens video?
Yeah.
I was like, listen, like, I don't care like what the context is. Like stealing is antisocial behavior, and it shouldn't be. Right. Yeah, it shouldn't be like encouraged, right? For just a basic
speed limit rule. Like you don't want to set your standard at like stealing is good.
Yeah, no, exactly. And people just like freaked out on me, and it's like surely there is some middle ground. This is horseshoe theory. Like I mean, surely there's some middle ground between being like, hey, like everybody should shoplift. That's awesome, and being like, oh, no, you stole a Snickers bar. We are going to pull the cleaver out and separate your fucking
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I was fighting with the right toys about was I was just like, yo, man, I get it. Like, yeah, this should not be encouraged. This is a sign of a decaying society for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
But like, am I supposed to walk around being like, yeah, we need to line these people up? And because a lot of these right toys will say that. And I'll be like, yo, no fucking way. No fucking way. I'm not with that. Like, no way.
And so much of the time it feels like it's like when we're having those debates with like left wingers, it feels like it's hyperbolic.
It is,
like, of being like nobody actually has those opinions, and then like
I found out. I fucked around and found out.
That's exactly it, dude. It's just like it's like guys like fucking don't be the freakish monsters that
don't be the straw man.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like don't be the monster that your enemies like insist that you are. Like this is fucking retarded. And like I don't know, dude. Like everybody's done. I mean, maybe not everybody, but like I feel like all three of us have probably shoplifted at least once in our
oh my god, so many times. Like
easy.
He who has not sinned, that type of shit, for real. Like that's how I feel about it.
No, exactly, dude. But it's like, dude, imagine like walking up to some like fucking high schooler, like doing a beer run or something, right? And just be like, hey son, you got that 6-pack there. You know what you got to do, and you just cut his fucking hand, like
stun him. Yeah.
This is retarded. This is retarded.
So retarded.
And like, I'm sorry, but like that is a way in which like globo homo fucking wins out. I would rather have the people not cutting my hands off for a fucking Snickers bar. And it's a retarded debate.
I know. We're coming out as anti-Sharia on this episode, which is not good. We're taking a bad angle right now. It's not based. But yeah, honestly, if these people say like I'm lib for this, I'll take that. Like I don't want to be like associated with lib, but like if that's where the line is, if that's where whoever draws that line, I'll take that because I'm not with that. I'm not with like again. I think these people doing things is economically driven. So if you're telling me like, oh, no, it's spiritually driven, it's spiritually wickedness, and we need to fucking punish them for being wicked. If you're on that type of shit, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not with that at all. No way, dude.
Dude, even if someone is just like stealing just because they're like maladjusted and like they're just a fucked up weird kleptomaniac.
Right.
You shouldn't cut their fucking hand.
Yeah, it's like not that big of a deal. It's like we have society so people can like keep their hands on. Like,
this is fucking stupid and gay. Like we ultimately, if nothing else, and this is the pitch that should go to all the normies, right? Mm-hmm. If nothing else, like it isn't our fucking business to enforce by force liberal values around the fucking world. That's insane, and that's like. I don't like making moral pleas all the time, but like that's evil shit. That's evil, menacing shit, dude. Yeah. And like, and it's so funny coming from the libs, always just being like basically using feminism as this framing device of like a universalist moral framework. Very ironic coming from them. And it's just like, I don't like it like as far as universal moral frameworks go, like gender isn't even a very fucking coherent one when you just have any understanding of like history and how like,
not at all.
Industrial modes have like changed what gender even fucking is and what the roles associated are. It's just like this is the weirdest fucking one place to have an about face on. It's retarded.
And it's weird because like the Taliban and the Shariah stuff, like it makes sense to me. And this will go into that whole like that thing I said where the underclass is reactionary, which we can talk about. I don't know if we'll talk about it now. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
But like it goes into like into that where it's like it's an understandable reaction. It's like as much as I like we're talking about how stupid it is and I don't like it, yeah, but I understand it, right? Because if the pendulum is that much swung the other way, you know, the natural counterbalance is we need fucking, you know, Sharia law and we need to slam the Old Testament on people's heads and shit. Like, I understand that, but I just think I don't think it's the answer. I think it's just an overreaction, overcorrection. But it's understandable. It's understandable. If you see rampant degeneracy everywhere, of course you're going to think like that. Of course. But like, I don't think that's the solution. Like, look, of course, like SLAV just said, yeah, there's some sickos who would just do crime for no reason. Of course there are. Like, there's people who do that. And yeah, I'm not against like jail. I'm not against fucking, you know, I'm not like whatever, like, of course.
Well, I'll even say with corporal punishment, like even just like instead of locking people up for an inhumane amount of time, like literally just beating the absolute shit out of them publicly is like,
okay, I don't know.
Anyway,
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you. I mean, I don't know if that'll work.
I'm listening.
But I will say, like, yeah, we can workshop that. But
Fed post first, corporal punishment.
Yeah. I know Mad Right Toys just got a half C's off of that. It's just like, oh yes, that's what we need to do. But like, I don't know. I mean, I think like, yeah, there's some sickos that like they can't be fixed, and it's not a material thing that's doing it.
Sure.
And there's nothing you can do but put them in a cage to save everybody else. I completely understand that. What I disagree with is thinking that everybody that does a crime is that person. I don't accept that, and that's what a lot of these guys start with. But you know, that's all I got. I'll leave this. But yeah. All right. So we talked about Afghanistan. Yeah. Shout out the Taliban. Shout out to them. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The last thing I'll say about them is like, yeah, it's definitely like the enemy of my enemy thing. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't agree with them about how they do shit or whatever, but hey, you guys are fucking up. You guys outlasted with like guerrilla tactics and like, you know, asymmetrical warfare. You outlasted the nightmare that's over all of us. So, you know, if you do that, shout out to you. Like, I don't really care what you believe because you're the underdog. You're the underdog.
Exactly.
So yeah. That's how I feel about the right wingers. Like, I don't agree with the shit they believe, but like, you're the underdog. So I'm fucking with you because I know who's the bigger enemy. So you know,
exactly.
That's how
I was thinking about that a lot this week, honestly, of just like the idea of like, it's kind of weird to think that like it's honestly a bizarre stance to me to think that like a random neo-Nazi in a trailer park is like a bigger enemy to you than the fucking United States government.
Absolutely.
Like I don't get that, you know, unless the guy's like actively coming to your house with a gun to murder you.
Which if he is, then he's probably a Fed anyway.
Beast. But like
that's what red pilled me off the left. It was a big thing that red pilled me off. They were like, no, these guys are like the big enemy. They're the fascists. They're like Hitler. This is going to spell the end of society. And, you know, that fear works a little bit if you're like, oh, fuck, I'm dark skinned. Like, they're going to put me in a fucking camp. Shit. You know, that fear works a little bit. But then, like, when you really look at them and see how powerless they are, and the right, you know, Jeannie said this, like, the right exudes more power than they have, and the left exudes more victimhood than they have.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
like,
that's really astute.
Yeah, you can kind of buy into it for a second, but when you really look at it, they're not fucking powerful. They're getting their shit kicked. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
So that's not my biggest concern. You know what I mean? That's a big red pilling thing for me.
Yeah, and like, well, they like to conflate to like racism and white supremacy, which are so different. Like, there are so few people who are actually like ideological, like white supremacists, and.
Yeah,
they don't. I mean, of course, they don't pose a threat to us because they don't have any. Like, they don't have anything. Like, if anything, like at least, like, I don't know, materially, and we would have the same enemy because, like, yeah, the United States government hates both of us. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's the thing I always forget. But too, yeah, it's like casual racism getting conflated with like a guy who like studies Nazism or studies white supremacy, like is a student of it, like getting conflated, like, oh, you did a microaggression. So that is a thing. I forgot about this because I'm not like around the left anymore, but like that is a thing where you could do like a mini microaggression or get something wrong and you're all immediately, boom, like hyper flash into the neo-Nazi territory of somebody like who studies it and is like about it, really about it, which is just insane. But it's useful for them because then they can justify doing horrible things to regular people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's about. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. And again, it's a power thing too. Like, even if you are someone that really is about that shit, that Nazi shit or whatever, what impact do you have over my life, really? You know
right.
what I mean?
You know, I would be so interested to know too, like, how many people are just like, I mean, I know there's got to be like a non-zero number, but I feel like maybe can people even like, who can really afford, I wonder, to like be a white supremacist now? I mean, like, if you're actually concerned about, you know, ideology and changing things, then like, are you gonna, I mean, shit probably sucks for them too. Like, they maybe have bigger fish to fry. I don't know. Like,
no,
like
yeah,
all
the
of us
cost
do.
is high unless you're Richard Spencer and you're a pretty boy white nationalist
right?
that
Which
votes Democrat and gets vaccinated.
He's a fake white nationalist.
Yeah,
white
exactly.
nationalist anyway. So
exactly. But if you are, I get what you mean. Like, if you're taking an ideology that extreme, you might be somebody who's back against the wall, got not much to lose. Kind of like the Taliban. Kind of like you're an extremist. You're like you're somebody who's been pushed to the edge, and you're open for something extreme because your situation is extreme, and there's nothing left, and you're kind of hopeless, and you need an extreme answer to your extreme situation.
yeah,
That makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's like a pitfall. I think it's a mental trap. But
for sure. But it's such in any case, like it's just like all of these problems, like, not to bring up COVID, I guess, but like COVID's the same way, you know, it's like they're just acting like it's like such a big problem, and it's just like it's not that much of a problem. I mean, yeah, if you have to deal with it individually, then sure, but like we don't need like a mass the response to this on this level, or even anything close to that. Like, there are things we need a response to, like, on a mass level, and oh shit, you're doing all of them. Like,
you're doing more than enough, way more than enough,
right,
to handle COVID and like all that. Well, yeah, COVID and white supremacy and terrorism, they're all sort of the same. They're interchangeable.
The three biggest pandemics going right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
the real pandemics.
Yep. The war on white supremacy, the war on racism, the war on terrorism, the war on COVID, yeah, like all that shit. It's the same. It's
The pandemic is the real pandemic.
Yeah. No, I remember joking with Oren or whatever about like, oh yeah, they're gonna have racism lockdowns, or like white people, like white supremacy lockdowns. But yeah, I mean, I guess. Okay, so there's two more things. There's the Hasan thing, and there's the underclass reactionary thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, do you guys even want to talk about the Hasan thing? Because it's very like a current thing. It's going to be forgotten in like a week. I don't know if you guys.
Is this Jank's nephew?
Yes.
He has a $3 million
why
house.
not? This kid's a fucking clown. I think this would be funny.
Yeah.
I watched that video that you posted last night, CRK, of like him.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I was gonna have a fucking aneurysm watching this video.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was unreal.
Yeah,
I think like I'm in awe of the fact that this is like a real person. Like, I had been aware of him before now, obviously, but like I don't really pay attention to him at all, I can't say.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I don't really know. Like, I read his Wikipedia article before we started recording. Like, I don't know that much about him.
I think like streaming generally, because he's a Twitch streamer, right? Yep. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I think like I play a lot of video games, and I know that streaming is big for like video games. I have never been able to get into that even slightly. Like, the idea of just watching people just like kind of absent-mindedly just kind of like do shit is just weird. Like, that's psychotic to me. So I don't understand this media product generally, but like, this has got to be the most corny motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
Well, yeah, he's like Young Turks. He's like
the youngest Turk.
Yeah, he's sort of like, in my mind, he's like entry level politics, like if you just learned about politics yesterday, you're like, oh shit, like there's like systems and shit, and you know, powerful people deciding things. If you just learned about it yesterday, like, and you're like left, you know, if you're not on the right orientation, you're on the left orientation, you're probably gonna be like into like, you know, Young Turks or shit that I was into when I was like 13 or whatever, and you know, a decade or two ago, and like, yeah, you're gonna, you know, this is the shit you're gonna be into.
He's like a Disney Channel star. Like he's for children, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
the
so
other thing
true. He is like a Disney Channel star. Sorry, go on.
100%. Yeah, he's like the postmodern Disney Channel star. But like, I'm watching that video, and yeah, like he's saying shit that like, I mean, he's saying
Sam Hyde sketch. It's a Sam Hyde sketch. Like
it literally is a Sam Hyde sketch, but like
it literally is.
It's like Hasan's paradigm shift. But like, what the fuck was I going to say? No, like you're listening and he's insanely vague about a ton of shit, right? But like, a lot of the stuff, like, you know, it's like kind of generally vaguely things that are like fairly accurate, right? You know what I mean? And so it's, he is that he's like that little beginner level on ramp for, I guess, like really, like I'm not even being hyperbolic here, like just children, literal children. He's an on ramp to dissident politics, which
like, well,
which
I really
think like dissident politics, I think is going to be just mainstream North flavor in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that like Globe Twitter will basically be like the real subversive left wingers pretty soon.
Oh God.
And he's like, yeah, he's like the on ramp for that for children. I don't know. It's just profane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, well, you know, it's funny. I got that vid from our group chat. It must have been our group chat, which Tucker's in and Slav's in, and like, you know, a bunch of other people are in. Like we've had it for like a year plus or whatever. But like, I remember like a year ago, somebody posted that video. I don't know what the context was. Somebody posted it was like a commercial or whatever. They were making fun of Hasan or whatever. And I saw that video. I was like, holy fucking shit, man. This is like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was like that. Like that video is on another level. I wouldn't have anticipated it.
Yeah. I avoid clowning him of all the leftists to clown. Like I avoid it because he's sort of an easy target. Because he's just a generic,
it's like who cares?
Yeah, he's just like generic fuckboy, like left Bernie, Twitch, you know, whatever guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's doing like streams with like Nico Lowell, I think. Like he
literally is just the basic like Disney pop star thing of like he's a corporately conceived sex icon for teenage girls. That's what he is, except saying AOC talking points.
That's
and like
wild.
To be honest, I wouldn't really want to talk about it either, just because it's also just like weird, creepy shit that Western culture has created in the last couple of decades. Like it's anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're right. He's PG leftism, and he's like, you know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I try to avoid it because it's too easy. But like, he's in the cycle now because he's got like this $3 million home in LA that people found out about with like 5 bedrooms. It's crazy and all that, and he's getting roasted for it or whatever. And his response is like, huh. You know that fucking curious, you live in a society meme, like, you know what I mean? Like that meme that everybody uses for like why their favorite socialist is a literal millionaire. You know what I mean? Like is like, oh, they contribute, you know, you participate in society, so that's, you know, it's like a fake fallacy. It's like, oh, you're part of society. How can you critique it? Like that's a dumb argument. That's a dumb argument.
He needs this mansion to survive.
No, he's saying that. No. That's not. That's the thing. He's literally making this argument. He's making like ironic arguments of like, oh, bro, like Marx wanted me to be homeless. That's real socialism. He's making this argument, and 40,000 people are faving it. And the irony, left true. Twitter people are on it. Like they're jumping on it. They're like, oh, you know, socialism is when you're homeless, or like they're making like ironic jabs of like, oh, like yeah, you know. Making any money makes you not a socialist. Ha ha ha.
I'll say really fast, just for the record, I speak for all of the Fed posts as our official stance. You can clip this for your news shows. I am pro Hasan being homeless, literally homeless, like without a home. He sleeps on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see that, honestly.
Oh yeah,
It's only well, is he hot? Is he hot? Is he hot, Tucker? Is he like? I don't know. I mean, I can't tell. I don't know. You know,
Like, I mean,
I'm not gay, bro.
I mean, like, yeah, it's like he's hot. Like, I can't really sit here and be like,
no, of course,
oh, like,
objectively, yeah.
you know, I mean, but like, I don't know. For me, like, I don't really care that much. Like, if somebody's like hot, like, I mean, like somebody like, you know, like, especially like a public figure, like they have to be like really, really hot. Like in some
the Taliban's hotter.
The Taliban is so much hotter. Oh my God. Like I'm really like, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I would say that like, I mean, Hasan's like hot, I guess, and like attractive, but in just a really like uninteresting way. There's like
AOC
he's just
hot.
Yes, that's actually the perfect way to put it. He's like AOC hot. It's like, you know, all the boxes are checked and like it should work, but it's just something missing.
It's just those scales underneath the skin suit.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah.
Well, dude, it's like you said like a second ago. Like it just doesn't even fucking count or matter if someone's a celebrity. Like it doesn't count at that point. Like famous people being hot is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like you all are,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's hot for like a streamer, though, isn't he? Like,
I guess he doesn't look like a sickly. He doesn't look like a sickly bumpkin like Destiny,
right?
I would let him do it. I would do it.
I don't know, dude. Fuck all these people. Fuck BreadTube and
what? Yeah. Oh yeah, they're all sickos. But you know, the celeb worship thing is so disturbing to me about this, and like it just reminded me about all that because I'm not really around left shit, so like I forgot about this. But like that worship shit is so fucking weird, man. These people that just go to bat for these people, it's like, dude. They don't know you. This is a parasocial thing.
Oh, like, I know.
These people aren't your friend. And, you know, it's more blatant when they're, like, going to bat for, like, AOC or whatever. It's like, dude, this is a literal politician who's scheming every day to make your life harder. And you're going to bat for them. Like, you're fucked up in the head. You're twisted. You're twisted.
That is wild to me.
I think, like, parasocial relationships are, like, really... Like it became this like normie kind of midwit thing to be like, oh, have you ever heard of parasocial relationships?
Right,
but like, and that's how everything gets neutered, right? But like,
right.
But like, they are just that whole thing is such an important central brick in like modern propaganda. Generally.
Oh, absolutely, and it's completely like cynical and cultivated. Like it really is like grooming. I mean, that word also gets thrown around like too much and doesn't really mean anything. But I mean, I guess,
true.
And they are all like, also a lot of them are like individual groomers too. But just like the whole like concept of it.
Yeah, they're a month away from getting exposed as a Discord groomer.
That's happening like all the time. But yeah, it is wild to see though, because like, I don't think like, even when I like listen to like Chapo and stuff, I wouldn't like go and like, yell at people like I don't like that's so weird to me, but they really do just like come out like in droves and just say, you know, all the same stuff, and like I don't know, it's just
I mean, these people they really believe that these people are their friends. I mean, it's like a real thing. It's like, you know, like
well, that's kind of like I guess a parasocial. I'm like, okay, in that context, like what he's doing, I have like really like strong negative feelings about it. But it's like, I mean, I'm parasocial too, you know, it's like, I don't like know you guys, I don't know my mutuals, and I like interacting with people, but that's, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, well, that's not the same thing. I mean, it might be under the,
I think
because
like,
we talk to you and we know you, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not just like a one-sided manipulation. Like, I'm not being groomed by you guys.
Yeah, to be fair, you're literally on the podcast right now.
Yeah, it's true. Like,
oh my God, I have to cut all of this. This is crazy.
But I will say one thing about it. It almost kind of reminds me of like virtue signaling a little bit, which is like. Yeah. Oh, this person's virtue signaling. Oh, this person has parasocial relationships. Like, wait, hold on a second. Like, these are both just like normal human reactions to things. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're, I mean, maybe it's a little strange, sure, but like if you're sitting and you're listening to people talk for hours throughout the week, more than you're actually listening to your fucking friends in real life talk. And their kind of their whole shtick is that like it's their, you know, it's their personalities and shit like that.
It's like a friend simulator.
No, exactly. Like, COH is going to say these people are sick now, you know, like, you know,
let's not alienate our fans here. Hold on.
Hey, listen, you fucking sickos. You're all guilty of it. No, but like the point is it's just like, yeah, like that's the normal fucking reaction. I think it's just that you need to have, I mean, fuck, man, you need to just have some understanding of what's being done to you constantly by culture. And I really do think that, like, for the most part, like, yeah, like I'm going to be a mouthpiece for like ideology that I'm kind of soaking in all of the time. But it's a hell of a lot different. It's a hell of a lot different than like one of these fucking like, hey, fucking, it's the Slate podcast network bringing you famous rich people talking about their lives to you, which like is sick. That's sick. And I have like no patience for that shit. You like you shouldn't let that, your fucking brain play that game on you with that shit. You know what I mean? It's bad. It's fucking bad for you. And like, it's the same thing as just like emotions generally. It's like, if something like makes you upset, like you're not supposed to like be angry at yourself for like having an emotional reaction. Right. You're just supposed to like be aware of what's happening and like